a city is captured. Russian troops gained control of Kherson, the first Ukrainian city to be overcome during the war. The overtaking of Kherson is significant as it allows the Russians to control more of Ukraine's southern coastline and to push west toward the city of Odessa. Military aid. Several countries are funneling arms into Ukraine, while NATO is moving military equipment and troops into member states bordering Russia and Belarus amid rising fears that Russia might try to reclaim its sphere of influence in Eastern Europe. American airspace ban. President Biden announced that the U.S. will ban Russian aircraft from flying through American airspace. The ban follows similar moves by the EU and Canada to shut airspace to passenger flights from Russia and to planes used by Russian oligarchs. Russian convoy. Satellite images show a Russian military convoy stretching 40 miles long on a roadway north of Kyiv, with a number of homes and buildings seen burning nearby. Experts fear the convoy could be used to encircle and cut off the capital or to launch a full-on assault. In Poland, traditionally one of the most anti-Russian countries in the region, the populist governing party, Law and Justice, has gone almost overnight from aligning itself with Moscow in its hostility to LGBTQ rights and the defense of traditional values to become one of Mr. Putin's most robust critics, offering its territory for the delivery of weapons into Ukraine and taking in more than 450,000 Ukrainians who have fled the war. Gas stations and ATMs in southeastern Poland along the border with Ukraine have been besieged in recent days by people worried that they might need to get out fast. That possibility hit home on Monday evening when missiles slammed into a Ukrainian village just a few miles from the frontier, rattling windows in nearby houses on the Polish side. Just 2 weeks before Russian troops poured into Ukraine, Poland's Prime Minister, Mr. Morawiecki, joined Mr. Orban and Marine Le Pen, the far-right French presidential candidate who has frequently spoken up for Russia, at a meeting in Madrid focused on attacking the European Union and its liberal attitudes on immigration. In recent days, however, Mr. Morawiecki has dropped the hostility to the European bloc to focus instead on opposing the Kremlin. He has lobbied for tough sanctions on Russia, traveling to Berlin to personally shake Germany's conscience and nudge it toward a dramatic U-turn in its policy toward Russia. On a recent visit to Warsaw, Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III hailed Poland as one of our most stalwart allies. On Friday, Poland hosted a summit meeting with 9 regional leaders to rally opposition to Russia's invasion and discuss ways to help Ukraine. "We have woken up to a completely new reality," the Polish president, Andrzej Duda, told the gathering, lamenting that it had taken a Russian invasion to interrupt the peaceful sleep of wealthy Europeans. A nation of Slavs like Ukraine, Poland has long been viewed as a wayward family member by more machinic-minded Russian nationalists, whose views Mr. Putin channeled last week in his justification for the war. Russia's foreign minister recently sneered at Poland and other new NATO members as territories orphaned by the collapse of the Warsaw Pact and the Soviet Union. To demonstrate that Poland has no desire to rejoin what Moscow imagines as its happy, obedient but sadly divided family, the mayor of Warsaw announced on Tuesday that refugees from Ukraine would be housed in apartment blocks built during the Cold War to house Soviet diplomats and left abandoned since because of legal disputes over ownership. Few people expect Russia to try and bring Poles back into a Moscow-dominated Slavic family by force, as it is now trying to do with Ukrainians. Doing that, said Thomas Smura, director of research at the Casimir Pulaski Foundation, a research group in Warsaw, would mean that Putin has gone totally mad. At the former Soviet warhead bunker in Podborsko, northwestern Poland, Mr. Zuk said he never really expected the Russians to try to retake their lost Soviet-era military outposts. But he still wondered why, just before pulling out of Podobsko with its nuclear weapons, the Soviet military drew up a maintenance schedule for cranes used to lift warheads and other equipment at the facility stretching years into the future. "It seems they did not think they were leaving forever," Mr. Zuk said, standing in a cavernous underground hull once crammed with warheads and long off limits to all but Soviet officers. In its attitude toward Poland, he added, Russia has always acted like a master toward a servant, a relationship that it is now trying to impose on Ukraine. "I worry that Putin may want to get hold of Poland and the Baltic states too," he said. Mr. Zuk stands in the former military bunker, which now serves as the Museum of Cold War in Podborsko.